Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh, ya akhwan. To my dear brothers and sisters everywhere, I hope that you are all in the best of health and iman. Okay. Now this video is, of course, although it will be in the public sphere, okay, it's actually going to be more focused towards my own students, okay, and you know who you are, alhamdulillah. So this video is going to be about the Unit 3, okay, this is the Pre-Intermediate Unit 3 test preview, okay. So when I say preview, you will actually see the test, but I will not help you, okay, with all of the questions, okay. So I will give you some answers, but not all of it. Tamam? Good luck. All right, so remember, guys, this is going to be based on Unit 3. This is Unit 3. And by the way, if anybody is wondering, this isn't the usual Headway book by Oxford University Press, okay? Usually you'll find a generic book that is available elsewhere around the world. This particular book, okay, is referred as the special edition, okay? And this special edition is mainly aimed at the Arab-speaking world, okay? And this particular book is also the second edition, which means this is the second iteration of this book. All right, guys, so just to be sure, so just to give you the full title, this is the Pre-Intermediate Headway Special Edition, second edition, okay? It's a bit of a mouthful, you know, hard to swallow all that names anyway. Anyway, alhamdulillah. Right, so without further ado, this is bye-bye. Let me share my screen, inshallah. You can see it now. As per usual, this is the Google form test, okay, sheet. Please write your name in Arabic, preferably. Okay, I will demonstrate. My name is, of course, is Muhammad Hussein. Okay, so I want to type in Muhammad, and then type in Hussein. Okay, employee number, of course, this is for my own students, of course. All right, so for me, I will use a generic employee number 1 to 9. Easy peasy. All right, let's move on and have a quick look at the first section, okay? So section 1, if you can see, what does it say? It says, complete the conversation with the past simple. Guys, remember the past simple? This is past actions and they are complete, okay? Done, okay? Good. So let's quickly go through it. Here we have two conversations, conversation 1 and conversation 2, okay? So conversation 1, person A, okay, we already have an example answer. Here, every single sentence, by the way, will have the basic verb, okay? The basic verb, okay? You have to decide and choose if the verb, you know, should be something else, okay? So what do I mean? So here, for example, this is a normal sentence. This is a normal sentence in the past, okay? So the word leave, okay, we change it to left, and this is left in the past simple because this is a sentence. This is not a question, and this is not a negative, okay? If it's not a question, negative, you change the verb, okay? So here we say, I left my teenage sons at home last weekend, okay? Good, excellent. Then B, person B says something, they, something, a party. Now, be careful. We have to think about, is this question open, okay, or is this question closed, right? How do we know? كيف نعرف? How do we know? If you look at the answer, it starts with no. So yes and no, you guys should know by now. Anything to do with a yes or a no answer, you should automatically think about a closed question, okay? So with closed question, guys, we used did, right? We use did to write the question in the past. Okay, so and the main verb, okay, if you remember, the main verb is have. Tamam. So have here, we keep it, right? We keep it the same. Okay, so this is the basic rule, guys. If it's a question, the main verb stays the same. If it's a negative, the main verb again stays the same. Okay, so here we should say, did they have a party? Okay, so this is number two. If we go to number two, did they have a party? So this would be the correct answer, thankfully. Let's try another one. A says, no, they didn't. Okay, but they, and then we have the verb eat. Okay, so here we have again not a negative and not a question. So we have to change the main verb to the past simple. Okay, don't forget that. So what do we have to change it to? So if we look at number three, we have ate, eat, and eats. Okay, so eat is a irregular verb, guys. Irregular. So what do I mean by irregular? So let me switch my camera again. So when I'm talking about a regular verb versus an irregular verb, okay, the difference is that with a regular verb, when you change it to the past simple, we normally add ed. Okay, that's the basic thing. But when we talk about words like eat, and eat is irregular, and when we want to talk about the past, we use a different word. Okay, another word. So eat becomes, let's go back, eat becomes ate. Okay, ate. So, but they ate everything that, okay, in the fridge. So the fridge, you know, again, the fridge is singular, so we can say we have to think about using was or were. Why? Because we have the basic verb be. Now be is what we always teach you guys, verb to be. Okay, so we have verb to be in the present, which is usually am, am, is, and are. And then we have the verb to be in the past, which is was and were. Okay, so we're talking about a singular, we're talking about a fridge, so we're going to say was. Okay, guys, let's go back. So here we're going to say everything that was in the fridge. Okay, so this is the answer for number 4. So you go to number 4. Here we go. Was, singular. Okay, but in the past. All right, let's look at the next one. Number 5 and number 6. Okay, so number 5 says they. Okay, the whom, jam', plural. And then we have a negative. This is a not. So this must be in this sentence is a negative sentence, right? So if it's a negative sentence, then we must use didn't. Okay, did with not becomes didn't. Okay, so the sentence now should read they didn't, and then the main verb stays the same. Remember, guys, negative and questions, the main verb stays the same. So they didn't wash up. Okay, wash up. That's number 5. So if you go to number 5, so we say they didn't wash up, not washed up with an ed. No. Washed up without ed. Okay, because remember, did already tells us this is in the past. Okay, guys, in the past. Good. And the last one, number 6, which is so they didn't wash up, and they. So we have something to walk the dog. Okay, to walk the dog. Okay. So we have the verb forget. So this is an example of regular or irregular. Forgot. I'm sure you guys know. So this is going to be irregular. So the past of forget is forgot. Okay, with an O. Okay. So if we look at the answer, if we go back to number 6, so here we should choose forgot with an O. Okay, forgot. Good. The next conversation is for you guys to finish, inshallah. Let's move on to the next one. Okay, here in section number 2, let's read it. Let's read the section together. Complete the sentences with. Now this time we're going to be talking about the past continuous. Okay, so guys, the past continuous, if you remember, this is an activity, an action, but it is continuous. Okay, not just like that, continuous. Okay, so there's a period of action. So when we write it, remember, we have to think about two things. Okay, we have to think about the helping verb, was or were, and we have to think about the second verb, which is going to be an ing. Okay, so let's look at it together. Let's go back here. So here's an example. Here we have an open question because we have the word what, and then we have the main verb. This is the main verb. Okay, so and then we have the subject you. Okay, now with the subject you, which one should we use, was or were, to make the question? So remember, I, he, she, and it, we should use was. Good. And you, we, and they, we should use were. Okay, so this is a you, so we should say where, what, where. So this will say where you, and then the main verb we add ing, so it becomes doing. Okay, so what were you doing at 9 o'clock last night? Okay, I'm Madi, last night. Okay, so let's have a look at an example. We're gonna look at one example here. So here we have we. Okay, so what should we say? Should we say we was or we were? I'm sure you guys already know. And then the main verb, is watch. Okay, so watch plus ing becomes watching. Okay, so the correct sentence should say we were watching TV. Okay, guys, alhamdulillah. All right, so moving on to the next section, the last two you can do it by yourself. Okay, section 3 says complete the sentences. Okay, oops, let me just make it bigger. Complete the sentences with. So here you have to be careful. You have to choose now which is correct. Is it the past simple or is it the past continuous? Okay, guys. So here, let's look at the example. Here it says I not. So this is negative. So we say I didn't. Okay. Speak. Okay. And to my neighbor until they introduced with an ed. Introduced. So they didn't speak and introduced. So this whole sentence is in the past simple. So one action happened and then another action happened after that. Okay, so what was the first action? I didn't speak. Okay, and then what came afterward? Introduced. So they didn't speak until they spoke to them. Okay, so let's have a look at the first one. Here we have he, and then we have the verb make. Okay, make, and then the what did they make? Lunch. Okay, so we have to choose something, and then after that it says before I, and then we have the verb arrive. Okay, so what do you think is correct? He made lunch before I was arriving. No, you know when you arrive one time, you don't continuously arrive. Okay, and the next one says he was making lunch before I was arriving. Again, you can't have these two continuouses together in this form. Okay, you can, but not in this sentence. Okay, the next one looks good. The next one says he made lunch. Okay, lunch is done before, all right, I arrived. Okay, so that makes sense. So what happened first? The lunch was made, done. What happened second? That I arrived. Okay, I arrived. So this is the correct answer. Let's have a look at the next one. Right, the next one starts with the subject she. Okay, and the main verb is have. Okay, have. So here we say what she's doing. She is probably she is having a shower, right? Now, if you see a sentence like this, and then you have when after that, think of it as a interruption. Yani the shower. Remember, the shower is kind of continuous, right? So we say she was having a shower when, ring, 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 I rang her. Okay, so she has to stop, right? She needs to stop the shower, go outside, pick up the phone, say hello, right? So this is kind of an interruption. يعني وقف, he stops the action, okay? Stops the activity. So the correct answer should be the last one here. She was having a shower when I rang her. Okay, guys? Good. Let's do one more. Here we have a negative, not live. Okay. Now live يعني تعيش يعني this is not يعني we can say it's يعني if we have a specific time we can say I lived there, right? But we don't have a specific time in this sentence, so we have to think about an activity, a long period. Okay, so we can say he, again مع was, wasn't, negative, he wasn't, and then ing to make it continuous. He wasn't living. Okay, he wasn't يعني he never يعني ممكن أبدا ما يعيش هناك. He didn't live there. Okay, so he wasn't living there when, you know, I met him. Okay, so when I met him. So the correct answer would be the first one here. He wasn't living there when I met him. Okay, so in the past we don't he this activity didn't exist. Okay, this period of time that, you know, did not exist, and then he met him. Okay, good. Hopefully that makes sense. The last one, you can do it by yourself. Let's look at the last section together. Okay, now the last section is we have three. Okay, let me just remind you. So here we have three articles. We have article A, article B, and article C. Okay, so let me read it first for everybody to listen, and then we're going to look at the questions together. Okay, good. So article A here, let's read it together. Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim. Here it says hundreds of homes in the southwest have no electricity after the recent strong winds and heavy rain. Okay, in Bournemouth, a 300-year-old tree fell on 2 houses. Fortunately, nobody was at home. Okay, so this is interesting. This is a story about bad weather, and bad weather can sometimes cause problems like this. Okay, good. Let's read article B now together, inshallah. Last night, thieves broke into the city's art gallery and stole 2 small Van Gogh paintings. Police say that the thieves knew the building and they were professionals. Okay, the night watchman told police that he was watching TV and the robbery took place, and that he didn't hear or see anything unusual. So this is a story about, you know, probably a museum where the thieves, you know, they stole something, you know, expensive. Okay, you know, money. All right, okay, good. Let's read the last one. Okay, this is article C. Okay, people in Norfolk Village woke up to a surprise this morning. While they were sleeping, students from the local university painted all the grass in the village red. Okay. The post office manager said, I couldn't believe my eyes when I looked out of the window at 5:30 this morning. I think it is funny, but a lot of people don't. The postman said it was dark when I went to work, so I was walking on it before I saw it. Okay? There is red paint on my shoes. I was very angry at the time, but now I can see the funny side of it. Okay? So here are the 3 articles, okay, that I've just now read for everybody to listen to. And let's look at the first question here. Which story is about a joke? Okay. So is it story A? Is it story B? Or is it story C? I think you guys can agree that it is story C, right? Because why? I remember the postman said, I think it is funny. And he also said, I can see the funny side of it. So this is about a joke. يعني شيء تضحك. Joke. Okay? So the answer should be letter C. Good. Let's try one more. Which story is about a robbery? Okay, this is about يعني harami, robbery. Okay, and I think you guys agree that this is about story B. Why? Because they are using words like thieves, okay, stole, okay. We have the police, okay. So this is all about robbery, okay, when you steal something, you know. So this is article B, okay, article B. Let's choose a random question. Have a look at this one. Was anyone hurt in Bournemouth? So hurt يعني في أحد يعني عور. Did anyone become, did they experience an injury? Okay. So if you remember the word Bournemouth, this is a place, and this is from the first story. Okay. If I read it to you again, hundreds of homes in the southwest have no electricity after the recent strong winds and heavy rain. In Bournemouth, okay, a 300-year-old tree fell on two houses. يعني في شجرة كبيرة طاحت في فوق البيوت. Fortunately, nobody was at home. So, alhamdulillah, ولا أحد في البيت. So, if you look at the question here, guys, was anyone hurt? يعني في أي أحد عور؟ لا. But this is a closed question, right, guys? How do I know? There is no what, no where, no how, okay? So what do we say? Was anyone? No, we should say no first, right? So no, there wasn't, or no, they weren't. So the correct answer should be no, there wasn't. There wasn't any person, not any single person, okay? Not jama'a, any single person was hurt. Good. The last questions, of course, you guys need to think about yourself, inshallah. Hopefully, this was informative, and you can understand now what you have to do to complete the test. Okay, guys? Jazakum Allah khair. Inshallah, have a great time, a great day, whatever you are, wherever you are, whatever you're doing. Take care. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.